Alright, welcome back. Okay, I believe we're ready to go here. Okay, I just want to check the clock. Good enough. Okay, let's match properties, clean up a bit. Okay, I'm just going to bring this down. Close enough. Okay. So we talked, these are the posts holding up this beam that's running along here that are holding up my floor joist. Okay. This span for this beam is doable, but it's going to be a very heavy, expensive beam, more than likely 2x12s, more than likely 4 of them, which means that we would have to make our posts bigger, and we can do it if the client really wants it. But the simplest way is put another post in the middle. Okay, so if I drew a line from here to here, so I can find the middle, which is right there. Okay, and then offset 3 inches, and then I'm just going to copy. I'm going to take this one. Okay, these don't have to have a super big footing. I'm just going to put it right there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to trim this line. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay. So trim. That doesn't show. So we put another post in. Let's do the same on this side. Now this will block his view from the back of the house, from the basement end of it, but it's still the most economical way of doing it. Okay, I'm getting lost here. Let's get a line from there to there and then offset 3. Okay, there's a construction line for my next post. Then I'm going to copy that, actually all of that, and this post, and I'm going to go from there to there. And then I'm going to erase the construction lines. And there's a construction line, there it is, okay, and trim. Okay, so that's a nice easy way of doing it. Up here we have these 14-inch rafters running across. They'll easily hold that snow load from one beam right in the center. So we'll just leave the one post. Won't block his view as much from his living room, and I'm sure that's what he wants. From the rest here we'll need a railing. Okay, well any deck that's over 18 inches off the ground has to have a railing, and has to be 42 inches high. And so we're going to offset 42 inches, and then 2 inches down below. That's going to be the top of our railing, and then we're going to offset a railing by code can't have an opening more than 4 inches for some little kid to squeeze through. And so 4 inches from the floor of the deck. Okay, and we're just going to get rid of these. So that's our top and bottom rail. He can build it out of 2x6. He can build it out of metal, you know, and glass. There's all sorts of things he can build it out of. Whoops. Get rid of this. Okay. The house is behind the railing. I got to get in closer. Alright, so we'll show that the railing is in front of the house. There we go. Okay, before we go too much further, let's put the windows in. Okay, we know where the position of them is from this plan. So construction line, vertical. Okay, that's door. Window, another one, Okay, we've already noted on the plan that there's rake windows over top. Okay. We're going to do it the same way. We're going to go offset 80 inches. Be the top of our main windows. Offset 80. Okay, from the floor. So that'll be the top of our windows. And we can clean up. And our door, actually. Okay. And then F again. Okay, we know that our windows are 6 feet in height, so we'll offset 6 feet. Okay, so that's the top of our window. You know what we're going to do? Right at this point, we're going to take this line, these lines, this line, this line, this line, and this line, but that one we got, okay, let's do it again. Was that one and that one, and that one and that one, and these guys, we're going to put them on the railing layer. RL, there it is. Okay, and then we're going to layer off RL. Okay. Now we can clean up these windows. I'm just going to trim. Okay, these are the sides of the windows. And we are going to go to that. Where's the other one? That and that. Okay, I should have done both. Select that, get rid of these. There. Okay, trim. This one we can do here. Now we're going to go down. The door is going to go to the floor. Where is the floor? The floor is right there. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, that's our roof. Okay, we'll get rid of that. That. Okay, you can see everything's starting to take form here. Okay, we're going to put all of this stuff on the window layer. Wherever it is. There it is. Okay. Let's bring in a door. ADC. Okay. We're already set up on ADC. And I have some doors, most common doors in here. These are 3-foot doors, which luckily this is the one that's got glass in it. We'll just bring one of those in. Okay, I'm going to move it to this corner, and then I'm going to copy. Okay, and I can explode because they were blocks, and then I'm just going to put them all on the door. DR. There we go. Okay, we already talked about windows. I mean, I could put windows in like that. They would just fit right in here. You can do it. Okay, so let's copy. Okay, I'll put one there. Put one there. Okay, now these windows I probably won't open. What do I do here? Okay, we're just going to leave it. So I could let's just copy all of that, put it right there. Okay. Whoops. What do I want to do? I'll just take this. Why is that doing that? Oh, because it doesn't go right across. Okay, stretch. And I'm going to pick. Well, there is no point there. Okay. boat tracking on, and then right to there, and there. That's better. Then just clean them up, okay, or not. Get rid of this. And copy. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that. Match properties. So this whole thing's on here. Or I could, I hate to not finish it. Okay, let's finish it. I'm going to erase. No, I'm not. I'm going to copy this whole thing to here. Okay, and then I'm going to erase this lower portion. Okay, and then I'm going to stretch. Anyway I do it, I'm screwed. And lines. There we go. Okay. And then copy. Okay, so any version of that. I don't like them, and I'm going to change them. You can see what I did when I inverted that first XO window. This is actually the bottom of the window, so I would have had to play around with it a bit more. Okay, I'm going to put my railing layer back on. Railing. Okay, now at this point I'm not going to trim all of these lines like I did this. Okay, I don't know what kind of railing he wants, and if he has something picked out I can show it on his drawing again, but at this point just to do a race, I'm just gonna just to do a normal railing, just a symbol for a railing, I'm just going to use a hatch pattern. And I'm going to go to railing 4, okay, which is a vertical siding pattern that I've just made to be a little bit denser, and so everything's at 4 inches instead of 8 inches. Okay, the scale would be 0. Okay, and I'm just going to pick that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cancel. I'm going to turn layer off, window, comma, door. Okay, now I'm going to do B hatch, and I'm going to pick railing, pattern rail. Okay, and then I'm going to pick points. That's so much simpler. Okay, match properties. I'm going to put everything on the railing area. Okay, then I'm going to turn all my layers on. Okay, again, I could go ahead and trim all those lines. It would take a long time, and I'm not going to. Okay, not for a preliminary drawing. Okay, now down below, we haven't drawn a basement plan, so I'm going to present this idea to him. I am going to just whatever I've got up above here, I'm going to put down below. Okay, so I am going to first establish where my ground wants to be, so offset 4. Okay, actually offset 8. Or the 8 inches above the ground with anything that's wood. Okay, and then I'm going to turn my railing off, layer RL, and I'm going to copy. Whoops, copy. Okay, all of this. From there right to there. Okay, I am going to trim that. Okay, trim. Let's see if we can get in here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. Just do this a different way. Straight across, down to there. Okay, and trim. Erase. Okay, erase. Nope, trim. Okay, trim. Okay, this one. Okay, so that back blue line is the top of my concrete. I won't bring siding down any lower than that. I'll match properties here. Okay, so all the windows are done on the back of the house except for these rake windows. Okay, I'm going to draw a line. Oops. Okay, this is my ceiling height, the bottom of the rafters. I want to stay down at least 12 inches. I want a lot of room in there for drywall, casings. I want to stay at least 12 inches below. In fact, I'm supporting on my weight in headers right above here, right above these windows. Okay, so the framing will have headers in here. Up above, we'll just go to the weight will be supported by these rafters. So offset, I need 14 inches. We've already talked about it. Okay, so that will be the bottom of the rake windows, and that will be the top. So if I fillet, maybe I'll trim. Okay, and then fillet. Okay, so I can copy this line from here to here and fillet. Okay, offset, or just copy, I guess. Okay, this is my leaving for my beam up the top, those bottom windows. Okay, so that would be my proposal for the rake windows. Over here, on the door, I'm going to have the door frame built like this. Okay, in order to do this, it's all going to be one frame. There isn't going to be a separate window. This is going to be supplied by the door company as opposed to the window company. Okay, so I'm going to offset probably 4 inches above the door by the time they get all their ward work in, and match properties to the door layer. Okay, and so match properties, these will all be on the window layer. And again, I'm not going to go into any great detail here. Pretty much this shows what I'm doing. I'm going to mirror these guys from there to there. Okay, so now I've done the other side. Okay, so that would be my presentation if we layer on, okay, for the rear of the house. Okay, and I've actually, like I said, gone way too far. I would probably leave all these windows just as rectangles. Okay, I only did that for the video. Okay, so rear elevation, and get rid of this construction line now, showing the back of the house. This would just be siding. I've shown some trim on here. I can show some trim on here as well. Offset 6. I'm going to just leave it like that. The railing kind of gets in my way there. Okay. We have a post there, so you're not going to see much trim. This is all open, showing the windows. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, presentation. We can turn all these things onto the wall there. This actually wouldn't show, that's a construction line. These are dotted lines just showing how we're doing the elevation. We can put all these guys on the window layer. Okay, put them on a window. Oh, there's wall, window. Oh, okay, explode the blocks. And match properties. There we go. Okay, match properties. Okay, and then everything else goes on the wall there. Okay, and you will see why here in a minute when we do presentation. Okay. We should sew some railing here. Okay, so we can zoom and we can copy these two lines and these two lines from, let's say, right there, and then go down to our other drawing here, wherever, there it is. Okay, trim. And then B hatch, we're already set up. And then match properties. Okay, what are we missing here? Match properties. Okay, I'm going to just steal this, copy that little thing there to show that it's a 5/12 pitch. I got that white line in there. And then take this one out. There you go. Okay. Okay, so there's my 3 drawings. This is my floor plan. Okay, well, we need to do a little more on floor plan here. Okay. I'm going to turn the hatch layer off, and we should show some dimensions here, just basic dimensions. We're not going to get too far along. Let's set them up here. Okay, I'm going to just jump right in. Okay, dim to get into dimension cycle. And horizontal. Okay, my first point is going to be this corner, and I'm just going to show the width. I'm not going to bother showing where these walls are. Okay, so from there to there. Now in this direction, I've got a 2-foot overhang, and I kind of want to keep everything proportional. So I'm going to 4 feet. Okay, that didn't work. Offset 24. 24. Let's just take this line, okay, and then we'll stretch this dimension down. Okay, erase. So that's kind of a proportional, nice look to the drawing. Okay, From there, I'm going to get back into dim and I'm going to go continuous. I'm going to tell that I want to continue from here and I want to go to there. Okay, and then I want to just keep going. I want to show the edge of this garage. Enter. I'm going to turn O-track off. Okay, back into dimension. I'm still in continued and I'm going to go to this corner of the house. Okay, so nice and simple. Then I'm going to use a base dimension, so BASE, and I have my dimension style set up to be a base of 24 inches. Okay, so enter. I'm going to go from somewhere around here, and I'm going to go back to here. Okay, so I'm showing all of the major jogs. Okay, I'm just sort of going to move this into the center a little bit more. Okay, I am going to change all of these dimensions onto the dim layer. Okay, match properties. Okay, now I'm going to do a vertical. So DIM, VR, and I'm going to get a little closer. I'm going to pick that corner and I'm going to go to here and I'm going to go in that direction 4 feet, enter. Okay, well, it worked that time. So dim continued. Okay, and again, I'm not going to show window centers at this point. I'll save that for working drawings. And I'm just going to pick, if I can get it, right on that corner. Okay, baseline. Okay, I'm going to just press enter to select where I want to start my base from, right there. I'm going to go back to there. Okay, so now I'm showing the total length that we're using, and MP. Okay, I'll do along the back, so DIM, horizontal. Again, I'm going to zoom in. Okay, I want this corner, I want to go 4 feet, and continued. Okay, there, back into continued. Okay, and then base. Enter. I want to select there to there. Enter. Match properties. Got them. Okay, one more down this side. Okay, so DIM, vertical, and I'm going to pick that point to that point, and I'm going to go out 4 feet. Okay, and that didn't work. Oh, because I connected to here, right there. Okay, and then dim continued. It's going to continue from there. Actually, I'm just going to press enter because sometimes it gets confused. Right there. And I'm going to zoom in a bit. I don't know if I got it or not. Yep, 30 feet. And then base. And again, I'm going to press enter so I can select. Nope. Okay, baseline. No, it's got it. Okay, we'll go to there. Here we are. Okay. Now we should have continued. Let's do that. DIM continued. Okay. Enter. So I can select. And I'm going to pick this one, and I'm going to go to here. Enter. And then I'm just going to get out of dimensions, highlight that one, and bring it down. Okay, so that shows my total length again. MP. Match properties, put them all in the dimension layer. Okay, I worked for some companies that hated having lines, dimension lines cross each other, and so if you use that sort of theory, you would do something like that. Okay, you can draw a line across here. Okay, well, make sure it's straight. Okay, and you can put it on a layer that shows a very light line, for instance, your hidden layer. Okay, or I'm going to just pick the roof layer. Okay, and I'm just going to show it right like that. Okay, or if you don't prescribe, you can just bring it across. Just make sure it's straight. Oops. There you go. Okay, whichever way you like to do it. Okay, so that's some dimensions. Okay, now we'll get ready for printing it or plotting it, and we'll do that in the next tutorial.